Hi everyone. So someone just said your name in a conversation you weren't part of, and what was spoken about you carries more weight than you might realize right now. I need you to stay with me through this reading because the energy coming through is extremely specific, and honestly, it's powerful. There's something about the way your name came up, the timing of it, the tone behind it. It wasn't casual. It wasn't small talk. This was intentional. This was necessary. And whether you felt it or not, something shifted in the invisible threads that connect you to certain people in your life. Let me be clear about something first. This isn't about obsessing over what people think of you. That's not the energy here. This is about awareness. This is about you understanding that your growth, your silence, your transformation, it's been noticed. And not just noticed, it's been discussed. I'm getting the sense that someone, or maybe even more than one person, has been reflecting on you deeply. Not in passing, not in a light way. There's a heaviness to this, a seriousness. Like they're trying to make sense of something, trying to understand how you changed, how you moved on, how you became unreachable in a way that you weren't before. And here's what's interesting. They didn't expect this version of you. You see, there was a version of you that people got comfortable with, a version that was available, that explained yourself, that maybe even overgave or stayed longer than you should have in certain situations. You were predictable in some way, you were known, but you're not that anymore. And it's throwing people off. I feel like someone recently brought you up, and it wasn't just to reminisce, it was because they're confused. They're feeling the absence of your energy. They're wondering why you're not responding the way you used to, why you're not engaging, why you seem so controlled, so calm, so unbothered. Some of you might have pulled back from someone recently, not dramatically, not with an announcement. You just stopped. Stopped chasing, stopped explaining, stopped making yourself small to make them comfortable. And that person, they noticed. Oh, they noticed. There's a conversation that happened about you. And in that conversation, your name carried a different frequency. It wasn't said lightly. Someone was either defending you, questioning you, or trying to understand you. But your presence, even in your absence, was heavy in that space. Here's what Spirit wants you to know. You don't need to know exactly what was said. You don't need the details. You don't need the proof. Because what matters is this. You are no longer operating from the same energy you used to. And people who were used to the old you are now being confronted with the reality of who you've become. And some of them don't know what to do with that. I'm also picking up on a very specific energy around respect. Like someone who maybe didn't fully respect your boundaries before, or didn't take you seriously, or thought they had you figured out, they're rethinking everything. There's a reassessment happening. They're realizing they underestimated you. They're realizing that you weren't just talking, you were walking quietly, powerfully, without needing their validation. Does this resonate with what you've been feeling? Because I need you to understand something. Your silence has been your power. Your withdrawal wasn't weakness, it was clarity. And the people who are talking about you now, they're responding to that shift. They're trying to make sense of a version of you that no longer needs them to make sense of you. Now, let's talk about the tone of this conversation. For some of you, this conversation had an undertone of regret, like someone is starting to realize what they lost. Not just you as a person, but you as an energy, you as a safe place, you as someone who saw them in ways others didn't. And now that you're not available in that way anymore, they're feeling it. It's like they took you for granted, and now they're sitting with the uncomfortable truth that you're not waiting around anymore. For others, this conversation had a tone of admiration. Someone spoke about you with a kind of awe, like they've been watching you from a distance and they're genuinely impressed. They see your growth. They see your strength. And even if they haven't said it to you directly, they've said it to someone else. Your name came up in a way that honored you. And then for some of you, there's confusion. Someone is trying to understand why you're different now, why you're not as accessible, why you're not reacting. They're talking about you because they're trying to figure you out. But here's the thing, you're not meant to be figured out by people who never took the time to truly see you. Let me ask you this. Have you noticed this shift in yourself? Have you felt yourself pulling back, not out of fear, but out of alignment? Like you just don't have the energy for certain dynamics anymore? Like you've outgrown the need to prove yourself or defend your choices? That's the energy I'm getting. And it's beautiful. Because what you're doing is you're reclaiming your power in the quietest, most profound way. You're not making noise. You're not causing drama. You're just different. And that difference is undeniable. Spirit is also showing me that this conversation about you is part of a larger energetic clearing. It's like the universe needed certain people to acknowledge your shift, even if it's just between themselves. Because their acknowledgement, their confusion, their regret, their admiration, it's all part of the closing of a chapter. You're not going backwards. You're not reopening doors. You're not re-explaining yourself. You're standing in your truth, and the people who are meant to rise with you will. The people who aren't, they'll talk about you from a distance, and that's okay. Because you're no longer building your life around people who only valued you when you were smaller. I want you to take a breath right here, because I know some of this might feel heavy. I know it might bring up emotions, but I need you to see this for what it is. This conversation about you, it's confirmation. Confirmation that you're on the right path. Confirmation that your boundaries are working. Confirmation that your growth is real and it's being felt, even by people who are no longer in your daily life. Now, let's go deeper, because there's something else Spirit wants you to hear, and it's about what happens next. You've been moving in silence, and that silence has created space. Space for clarity, space for healing, space for the right kind of energy to find you. And I'm seeing that the conversation that happened about you isn't just a reflection of your past. It's setting something into motion for your future. Here's what I mean. When people talk about you, especially in the way that's been happening recently, they're putting energy on you. And that energy, whether it's rooted in regret, admiration, or confusion, it's creating a ripple. It's making you more visible in the spiritual realm. It's aligning you with new opportunities, new connections, new paths that are a match for who you are now, not who you used to be. Some of you are about to be seen in a completely new light, and it's not because you're chasing it, it's because you stopped shrinking, you stopped performing, you stopped making yourself digestible for people who weren't ready to appreciate your full flavor. There's a cosmic acknowledgement happening. Like the universe is saying, okay, you've done the work, you've held your ground, you've stayed true to yourself even when it was uncomfortable. Now let me show you what's on the other side of that. I'm also getting that for some of you, this conversation about you might lead to an actual reconnection. Not everyone, but some of you, someone is going to reach out. And when they do, it's going to be different. The energy is going to be different. They're going to approach you with more awareness, more respect, maybe even a little nervousness, because they know you're not the same. And here's what you need to remember when and if that happens. You don't owe anyone access just because they finally woke up. You don't owe anyone your time just because they realized your value. You get to choose. You get to decide if that door is still open or if it's closed for a reason. And whatever you decide, it's the right decision. Because you're operating from a place of inner knowing now, not from a place of people pleasing or guilt. Spirit is being very clear about this. You are not responsible for managing other people's regret. You are not responsible for making anyone feel better about losing you. Your only responsibility is to yourself, to your peace, to your alignment. Let me ask you something. Let me know in the comments if this speaks to you, because I feel like some of you needed to hear that so badly. You've been carrying a subtle weight, wondering if you're being too cold, too distant, too selective, and the answer is no. You're being boundaried, you're being intentional, you're being protective of the energy you've worked so hard to rebuild, and that's not something to apologize for. That's something to honor. Now, there's another layer here. For some of you, this conversation about you wasn't just between people you know personally. It was happening in rooms you're not in yet, meaning there are people who are hearing about you, your work, your energy, your gifts, and they're taking note. If you've been building something, creating something, stepping into a new version of your purpose, this conversation is part of that momentum. Your name is traveling, your energy is reaching, and you're being prepared for visibility that matches your evolution. But here's the thing Spirit wants you to be mindful of. Don't let other people's opinions, even the good ones, define you. Whether they're praising you or questioning you, whether they're missing you or misunderstanding you, none of that changes who you are. You are not the story people tell about you. You are the truth you live every single day. So if this conversation happened and it stirred something in you, let it be a reminder that you're doing something right, a reminder that your growth is undeniable, a reminder that you don't need to announce your transformation for it to be real. People are feeling it, people are seeing it, and the ones who matter will align with it. I'm also seeing that this conversation might have revealed something to you energetically. Like, even if you don't know the exact words that were said, you might start noticing shifts. Someone might seem warmer toward you, someone might seem more distant, someone might reach out unexpectedly. Pay attention to that, because the energy is moving and you're being shown who's ready to meet you where you are and who's not. Have you noticed this shift in yourself? Because I think you have. I think you felt the difference in your own energy, the way you hold yourself, the way you respond or don't respond, the way you stopped explaining and started embodying. That's mastery. That's what people are picking up on. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need their validation anymore. You've already validated yourself by choosing you, by honoring you, by protecting your peace even when it meant walking away from what was familiar. So as we close this reading, I want to leave you with this. The conversation that happened about you was meant to happen. It was part of the energetic recalibration that's been taking place in your life. It was a reflection of your power, your growth, your undeniable shift. And whatever was said, it doesn't define you. It simply confirmed what you already know. You are not the same, and you're never going back. You're moving forward with clarity, with strength, with a quiet confidence that doesn't need to be loud to be felt. Trust that. Trust yourself. Trust the path you're walking, because Spirit is walking it with you. And everything you've been building in the silence, it's about to speak for itself. Does this resonate with what you've been feeling? Let me know in the comments. I'm sending you so much love and light. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting this message. And thank you for choosing yourself even when it wasn't easy. You're exactly where you need to be. I don't sell futures. I build architects. Not predictions, just the naked truth for the hard ones. Stay magic. Stay in the now.